England is rocking the boat. He's rocking the boat hard. And that makes him scary to everybody. And I respect that. I like when people rock the boat. It's good.
There we go. All right. So yeah, what else I want to talk about? So we got some questions. Let's get it started with some questions. This is my first time interviewing. I don't interview people, bro.
Dude,
So this is I didn't even interview Richard Hart. We just was talking.
We should
But
just
I do have some stuff out.
we should have a conversation, just like normal conversation. I think it's totally fine.
It's way better.
Yeah. I mean,
so what's new?
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I'm a YouTube noob. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, me too, bro. I have no idea what the hell. I don't know.
Well, I mean, at least you got the horn.
That's why this is so horrible.
You got the horn, and yeah, that horn. I mean, I listen to your videos, and I'm like, this guy got the horn, so he must be.
Oh, the Viking horn.
Yeah, I mean, like.
I guess they call it the Viking horn.
Yeah, it's cool. I want something like that too.
Yeah, Stream Deck.
Stream Deck. You should teach me.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, and like from you, I learned OBS. Like I didn't know OBS existed. It's so cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, OBS is dope.
Yeah. By the way, what I'm doing now, I started my OBS stream with your audio plugged in, so my audience hears you too.
Yeah. See, I can't do the cam. That's the thing. I have to choose one. So I'm using this microphone for you, and I'm using this one for YouTube.
Yeah, I can't see
That's
you.
What I'm able to
I
do.
can't see you on StreamYard for some reason. So like somehow
I had to sacrifice. If I had another camera, I could do it though. But I don't have another camera.
Don't we have the like Cyber Monday extended to the Cyber Week or something? Maybe it's possible to get a camera that's like half off.
Yeah, bro. We should try and get some cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. I mean, your videos are long, and there's a lot of things that you can find there, so it's kind of cool.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zen. Everybody wants to know about ZenFT. I want to know about ZenFTs.
Dude, I want to know about ZenFTs.
It's like this is where the problem is coming. People want to ask questions, but it's like I don't want to ask. It's kind of weird for me because I don't really ask questions through people. So I'm gonna just ask things that I care about. I was gonna take questions from the chat. Maybe I will at the end, but it's like I don't want to act like I want to know something. Like I want to know this stuff. I don't really. Some of the stuff that they're asking, I don't really want to know. Oh, you probably went off the screen.
Well, I still see myself on StreamYard.
All right. So what's ZenFT?
ZenFT is.
What's the point of it? Why are you creating it?
We want Zen to be useful. That's the real answer.
So why did so let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning of launch. Did you know that people would be able to? I'm sure you didn't know this. You hadn't noticed that people would be able to batch mint with, but they would have to go inside of the contract. Did you know that would be a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. We knew it would be a thing.
So why didn't you tell anybody? Why didn't you say that you can make a wallet by going into the contract? If you try and do it through MetaMask, you have to go one by one. Right. But if you go into the contract, you can make a whole bunch of them.
Well, you have to make the contract first, right?
Yeah. So yeah, why didn't you say that was possible?
To be honest, I mean, we didn't really have time to get one, and before we figured it out, CoinTools was out.
So you didn't know that was gonna be a thing?
No, I figured it would definitely be a thing. I mean, automation would definitely be a thing. That was obviously expected. We just didn't expect people to come up with their own so quick.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the people that did the MetaMask, wallet way. It's good for a certain type of person, but the people that's like heavy in crypto, now it's like, oh man, I got to go through all these wallets. So even the ones that I did, it's like one wallet at a time. They're all like melting because I'm not really able to keep up with it.
Well, I think
it's not worth as much, but it's still it was still profitable.
Yeah, it
but
for sure was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been switched over to doing the coin tool, but it's kind of like I think there's a little bit of, I don't want to say anger, but maybe like a little bit of jealousy vibe for people that didn't know that there will be a rush of people coming in that will get a better chunk from their time. You see what I'm saying? Because it's the time that we really paid for.
Well, actually, it's not technically correct, because if you come
Okay,
later, you're like when if you were to do it within the first 2 weeks, your time limit is like 300 days, 330 days at most.
Right.
Now it's 429 or 28.
Right.
So you get a little bit of a bonus in terms of the term extension, just because more people have joined. And so if your time horizon is, if you're okay with an extra 100 days, you're gonna get 25% more Zen.
Yeah, you're gonna get way more if you're doing it now.
Yeah. So
and if you're using the back, I mean, for me, I don't think. Would you recommend anybody doing it any other way? Well, I guess because if you got gas, if you're okay, put it like this: if you've got the gas, would you recommend anyone doing it any other way than the batch minter? If you've got the gas,
I would say, well, here's the thing: it's dangerous for me to recommend a third-party tool that could be hacked and people will lose everything.
Right.
So I would say that if we control the front end, then I would definitely recommend. Their contract is solid, but they could get hacked, and their front end could be, flip the contract.
But they got the guide. So I would say go through the guide first and see if you can do it yourself.
Right. So I have done it, and it works. So that's good. So the guide,
is it easy?
It is actually relatively easy, especially for a person who understands how the Etherscan works. But the Etherscan,
put it like this: if you can end a hex stake, if you can end a hex stake, you should be able to do that, right? You can go through Etherscan and end a hex stake. You can figure that out, then you can do this.
Yeah. I mean, Etherscan actually connects to your MetaMask, and it will ask a transaction to be signed by the MetaMask, and then execute a transaction signature with the data payload. In this case, data payload is the number of wallets IDs. So the only thing you need to know is what are the IDs you're claiming, because IDs will not necessarily be 1 through 100. It could be like 101 through 201. Especially if you're using their tool to mint from the same wallet, and it creates like an array of all of the virtual addresses underneath. So you need to have, but what's really cool, what they have done is that they have a download button now, and you can download an Excel file that actually has all of the wallet IDs. So you can save it, and nobody can take it away from you. And from there, you can actually go back to Etherscan, and if they go offline. I mean, but I'm not really concerned about them going down. I'm concerned about...
You have to import all those wallets? You have to do all one by one?
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. You go to Etherscan, and then you say that I'm doing 100 through 300, and it's going to do the mass claim.
Okay.
Yeah, but my concern is not their website going down. My concern is that somebody's hacking them and replacing the contract address, and not for it not to be Zen and something else, and then you're actually interacting with something else, and it will actually steal your money. So that is what I would be concerned with. I would not be concerned them like being offline. I would be concerned.
So you would say, what's the safest way to, I guess, before you do it, go check the contract and make sure it's the same?
Here's what I do, and here's my recommendation.
Yeah, what do you do?
I would say you can use them, but label their contract in MetaMask, so it actually will say coin tool, so whatever the word that has meaning to you. So then every time you interact with their website, the transaction that you need to sign with MetaMask will say that it's talking to the same contract that you have personally labeled, so you gave it a name. And if it changes, if it becomes a bunch of numbers again, then you know that it's been switched.
I'm gonna go to zenbatchminer.net right now.
Yeah, so this is something that you would, I mean, and you can do it for any address. So it
I'm
was.
a visual learner, so I want to see it. So I'm on. Let me see if I can share the screen. You might not be able to see. Do I kill the momentum for this?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna bring you on my iPhone just to see if to see what you're doing.
Yeah, maybe that might be best. So go to that contract, right? Let's see if I got it on here.
Okay, there we go. Now I see me and you. There's obviously a delay for like 10 seconds.
Let's see. Now I did a batch from here. Because that's scary what you're saying. Like I didn't like that's the problem with me as far as like knowing what's possible. You know, I'm able to create, but it's hard for me to create because I'm not sure of the possibilities of smart contracts. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm sure a lot of people didn't know.
Well,
so I got the contract.
Yeah. So the possibilities is that the only thing I don't like about CoinTools is that it doesn't have Zen contract in code. It actually receives the Zen contract address from their webpage, which means that, and I know why they did it. They did it because they used 10 different chains. And so it kind of makes sense that the webpage dynamically selects which chain to use.
Okay, so I got it pulled up right now.
Okay, let's see.
So what would I got the contract copied. What would I need to do?
So in your MetaMask, hold on one second. Let me open my own so that I know how I done it. I don't remember how I did it.
Like I'm just thinking to myself, my bad. You can't hear the crowd cheering right now.
So the crowd actually can talk to you over OBS. So how does that work?
Nah, I'm talking about my button, the crowd cheering.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, listen, I don't remember how to do it, but there is a way to name the addresses. So once you
you're talking about naming the address?
Yeah, once you name it, and you can say
that's a way simpler way to put it.
Yeah, name the contract.
Name the contract.
And then anytime you talk to it, it will say hi Trevon or something. Or whatever, right? And then you know it's your thing. It's not like somebody else's thing.
Got you.
So it's basic, and it's
you're hoping that the problem is where they could switch out the contract. They could put a different contract, and then the UI stay in the same.
Exactly. So you're gonna be confused, and
you're not gonna know that you're interacting with the same contract.
Right. But if you label it, then you know.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. So what was the question that stirred that was, did you know that there was that there would be people minting and like mass minting way more than other people, but if you come in later, you're actually getting a better batch mint than those who are.
That's why, I mean, of course we knew and
not putting as much work.
Well, the work is gas, because
I would say, well, now the work is also keeping up with, if you're not doing the batch mint, because the batch mint, as far as cloning tool, it's really simple.
It's simple, but you don't want to, like, for example, let's say that you go to Coin Tools and then you say, I'm gonna do 2 wallets, 3 wallets, 5 wallets. I mean, you're not gonna do 5 wallets. You're gonna do 10, 15, 100. 100 wallets adds up. It's $300 per transaction if you do 100 on the weekend.
So you still have to have the gas, yeah.
So you quickly spend a lot of gas. And technically, that's kind of like staking gas for future Zen reward.
Basically I'm saying that I'm not sure if it was strategic to because there's still, if you have, say you want to spend $300 in gas, but you don't know about the batch tool,
right? Then
now you're making 300 wallets.
Then your life's hard.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying for the people that did that, like me.
Yeah. Then your life's hard. I mean, so
but
like
I'm not tripping about it. It's just like I'm like, wow, if somebody else is like doing, if they don't like, people are still doing MetaMask. Like I see people saying, yeah, I got a wallet coming out. Like they just started. It's people that's in my Telegram. You're in there, and they're just not now starting to warm up to the thought of doing CoinTool. So they're gonna have, they probably have a ton of wallets by now. You know, so that's
Sure,
what I'm really
sure.
thinking about, because it's like me, I'm probably gonna just, if it's not worth it, I'm probably just gonna ignore it. But I'm glad that I switched over to doing the batchment early. You see what I'm saying?
Sure. Well, you're kind of like an OG in this regard.
Yeah,
So,
kind of.
uh, but there's other people who are learning.
Yeah, more
Uh,
savvy.
they're learning, right?
Oh, okay, I get
And
what
for
you're saying.
them, MetaMask is a totally viable option. Like I just onboarded a friend of mine who never been in crypto,
Yeah.
and it was good to show him how the MetaMask works on his phone. Like he never had it installed. Like we played with the seed phrase, and I told him why it needs to be on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely worked as an onboarding process. And so the
Yeah.
function of getting noobs and no coiners on is definitely working. Now, we did obviously think that there would be degens and OGs that are going to pile in. And that is why the reward amplification formula works the way it works. Is
Mm-hmm.
that if you're a noob and you have just one wallet, but you're early enough, and then a bunch of OGs pile on, you get more rewards just
Yeah.
because the C rank difference gets
So
you.
it was that's the safety mechanism, you would say, to the batch.
I wouldn't say it's safety, but it's definitely balances out
Yeah.
the participation. So and we wanted it to be opposite of Bitcoin. Like specifically, Bitcoin actually punishes uh, older miners with difficulty as the new miners join. So if two miners are mining and then two more join, now the difficulty goes up twice, and so they make half, which is how Bitcoin works. Now with
Yeah.
Zen, you're logarithmically increasing the rewards based on people you invite. So you're never feeling like you have to do it and don't tell anyone else to do it.
Yeah. Because that's
So
kind of how I've been was actually feeling this whole time. Like I'm kind of feeling like, oh, do I really want to talk about this? Because it seems like it'll kind of mess it up, but not really. It's
yeah,
not. It's like the C rank. It's an incentive, but the C rank isn't. That incentive isn't really. It's not as crazy. But maybe it does get. Maybe it does. I think we're just probably early, so I probably can't see the tail end of it. Of inviting people over and over. So maybe that's what it is. Um, I want to get into some of this Richard Hart stuff, but I want to talk about ZNFT first because people are wondering. Well, let me go with that people word. I'm wondering if you knew that you obviously knew the inflation would be crazy for Zen. So was the ZNFT like what did you? Is this stuff already planned out in your mind, or are you like going, as you go along? Like are you like, oh snap, the inflation too. How we need to burn some coins. How can we burn some coins? Or did you see that already?
I lost sound. I
You
can.
lost sound.
Okay,
Can you hear me now?
now I hear you.
Okay. So I'll just ask it again.
Yeah, no, I heard the question and then you disappeared. Now you're back.
Okay.
Okay, so uh, we knew that Zen is going to be obviously there would be a lot of it, and a lot of people will hold it just because its onboarding mechanism is so simple. And so, but we also knew that the value of Zen is really relates to how useful it is, whether there are any applications out there that are going to be using Zen for something. And so we wanted to make as NFT for two reasons. Obviously, to consume a lot of Zen, but not get paid at the same time. So, like in other words, a lot of NFTs out there, people sell them. So this is one of a kind. Well, I wouldn't say one of a kind, but definitely a rare kind that people mint for themselves. And the contract gives you the NFT as a reward, and you need to acquire Zen. So there is a value transfer that happens from Zen to this NFT, and also you have to either buy it or mint it and therefore create buying pressure on Zen. And so buying pressure is marketing. Anytime the price rallies, everybody's so excited, and there's more people joining the mint. So when the price went up 8x a couple of weeks ago, the minting process just went off the charts. Like the website's traffic quadrupled, and everybody started minting more and buying more. And so rallies are definitely helpful. But going back to the question of inflation, so I actually don't believe in inflation. I believe in user creation, so to speak.
I see where you're going.
So the number of zeros you have at the end of your supply amount is kind of irrelevant if you have just few users. Now, if you have 100 million users or 200 million users, which is a lot for crypto, then the actual decimal point where the what you call 1 Zen or whatever, right, is actually irrelevant because it's just a number. But if Zen is equally distributed, which it is now, and you can look at the Etherscan and you can click on holders and you can see that the biggest whale we have is 1% holder, like literally. And that's only $60,000, which is awesome.
Now, before I forget, let me ask you something about that. So we see the biggest holder for Zen has like, whatever you said. And it's an exchange probably. Let me go look.
No, I'm skipping exchanges. So
okay. Okay, so let's talk about the exchange. Let me just say this. Let me ask about this. What your thoughts are. Gate.io has 17.1% of the full supply.
Right. So
and then Huobi number 12. I get that it's to all the users. I know that part.
Right.
But what my concern is, what about if there's some type of, this is still a wallet at the end of the day. Did you think about that? Like the fact that, let me show the screen. The fact that, I mean, this percentages seem to be going down. I can't really remember.
They're going to be diluted out. Those guys. They're going to be diluted.
But in the meantime, are you worried about like one of these getting hacked? Because I mean, MEXC, I'm not sure how big of an exchange that is. I know Gate.io is kind of big, Huobi is kind of big, but I'm not sure about the security.
But that's a common issue with all centralized exchanges. I mean, there's more money there than Zen, 100%. Zen is like maybe, 0.00001% of what they hold.
I guess there just wasn't. Do you think there was any way that you could have like stopped? I guess there's no way you could really stop that from happening.
Yeah, you can't. And in fact, but here's the thing.
You just don't know about it.
I haven't spoken with exchanges before launch at all. And on day one, they all listed this. And I swear, when I woke up and people told me that this is happening, I thought it was a scam. Right. I thought they were listing some other contract just to, somehow capitalize and sell a token that's not really the Zen token. And then I looked at the contract ID and it looked the same. And so I messaged them and I said, yeah, I guess you guys launching. They're like, yeah, we want to do an AMA with you later too. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Okay, so it's back to the NFTs. So my original question was, is this like a plug in the faucet? Like, is the NFT burn like a plug in the faucet because the inflation is just too crazy? Are you concerned about it is it going too fast? Like, how many coins do you predict are you seeing are going to be in the market?
Well, so we're approaching 1 trillion, right?
Right.
And it's been 60 days. So technically it should accelerate.
Yeah.
Because of the user adoption. And so it may be 10, 15, 20 trillion per year, potentially, if you average it out. But then the difficulty kicks in. And right now the difficulty is not very noticeable. But every day you actually make like 0.5% less Zen, or 0.1% less Zen, actually. And then the half-life of Zen creation is 4 years. So in 4 years, if you join the project and you start minting, you're going to be making between like 25 to 30,000 Zen, and not 60 and 70,000 Zen per day that you're doing now. So that will decelerate. But I'm thinking that the world adoption will actually balance it out, and we're going to have a steady increase in supply.
I'm not sure. I think you're kind of dancing around my question a little bit. I'm asking, is the ZenFT burn, is it a reaction? Are you reacting, or was it like?
I'm not worried about the Zen numbers. And like I looked at Shiba, and Shiba has like 500 trillion of tokens, and they're still in top 7 or top 8. And they have a community that's very solid, and they're definitely doing cool stuff. I don't like their launch, and I don't like that Ray Boshi, whatever his name is, like holds a lot of it. So, but yet it works. And so, but yeah, to answer your question directly, whether it's a reaction from us, I don't think it is, because we always wanted the applications to be there to actually consume Zen. Now, if you think about it, the proof of burn mechanism has been implemented within Zen from the get-go, right? So the code to burn Zen existed.
Yeah.
So it isn't like we're burning Zen with some other method. Like we're not throwing it into the fire with another contract. We actually had the proof of burn, and we actually talked about proof of burn NFTs even before we launched.
Yeah, so that's basically what I'm asking. Is like, was this an idea? The ZenFT thing was it an idea before, or like, because you're gonna need some. I mean, you don't need to burn any. You can just let it keep on. If super.
So burn is just the bonus. Burn itself equalizes the market forces on people who are not participating with NFTs in the NFT marketplace. And there are people like that. I mean, some people are exclusively NFTs and some people are exclusively ERC20. And so if you're an ERC20 person and ZenFT's project launch is a success, 2 things happen. Number 1, gas spikes, minting stops. That's bullish for Zen. So if you're a holder of ERC20 Zen, you can potentially sell higher if you wanted to. That's because of gas. Number 2, the supply gets vaporized, which is also bullish for you as a holder of ERC20 token. And you haven't even touched NFT yet. So you don't even have to use NFTs. And of course, the third thing is the safety. So you can now potentially sell your future mints to someone else on the NFT marketplace. And that's key. Like that becomes, it gives portability to the Zen ecosystem. And the other thing, like we haven't really talked about it, but the staking NFTs
I heard you mention that
is also
yesterday.
Coming. Yeah, so I wanted to do staking first, actually, but I figured because people really needed to have a safe bulk minting tool that's officially coming from our team, we should just make it part of the game, like so to speak.
Yeah, that's better. So are you still? I'm trying to convince you to do 10 billion for the rare.
I think we should do it. We should do 10 billion.
Oh man, 10 billion for the rare.
Well, that would be Zunicorn, not the rare. Zunicorn.
Oh yeah, Zunicorn. Still, whatever you call it. Bro.
Zunicorn. There's only 100 Zunicorns, and at 10 billion, what is it in dollars?
Be a trillion.
It's gonna. Yeah, it's 100 times 10 billion is a trillion. That's this year's market supply potentially. Well, actually, it's gonna be a little bit less because we expect like maybe 5 trillion this year, maybe more, maybe 10. But that's just one little portion of the top
still
series.
A lot though.
And
how fast do you think those will go?
What?
How fast do you think that would go? Like if you were to do 10 billion, do you think it would be a lot that do it, or you think it'd be like one person might do it every week? Or
I think it's going to be one person every week, but I'm just guessing. It's going to be hard to. I mean, when you buy
10 billion,
buy 10 billion, and I saw yesterday some person bought 2 billion, it actually moved the price 6%.
Nice.
So even though there is plenty of supply, the liquidity is low enough where $1,000 actually moves Zen chart by 1.5%.
The liquidity is growing though. That's one thing that kind of got me kind of into like wanting to. I mean, I wasn't like a noob in buying it all high, but like in these like from like 8 to 6, the 8 to 6 price, when I started seeing the liquidity starting to pile up, even though that the price was going down, that's when I started getting interested in buying. But I ain't buy too much. But yeah, that could be. I mean, I don't know if that could be a problem, because if it keeps growing, it's going to be harder to push the price. So I guess it's kind of a good time.
There's a benefit with low liquidity situation, especially for people who are getting into a project. And actually, I mean, believe it or not, I like the low price because it lets more people buy it without spending a lot of money. So it's actually good.
Somebody had a question about that, actually. Let me see if I can find it. It was oh, I think I put it on here. It was, do you believe, I mean, you pretty much answered it, but do you believe price will appreciate and ever stop dumping?
That question I get asked it like 100 times per day, like everyone.
But I think they asked in an interesting. I think they asked in an interesting way. I can't really remember because I typed it, but like, yeah. Do you think it'll ever? Not will it ever? Well, of course we know it's going to run up, but do you think it will always trend down and then pump, down new lows and then pump? Do you think it's going to be like that? I think that's what they're asking. Always new lows, but like these run ups where it's like, wow, I'm glad I did a mint. Do you think that's going to happen, or do you think it'll be an uptrend?
I think in the bear market, it may be trending down for a while, just because it's like the low of the land, and there's fears rallies just because certain interesting events cause things to pump. Like for example, the NFTs, the release, if the gas becomes unattainable all of a sudden, then it's gonna pump, right? And I think with FTX, remember FTX a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah,
like Zen's actually pumped.
That was nice. Yeah,
it pumped hard, and people were like, "Oh, look, it's the only thing that's pumping. That's cool."
Right.
But when it comes to situation where the tide rises all boats, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, because the gas is gonna be high if the market is good too.
Here's my like the best thing that I like about the situation we find ourselves in. We have received so far 650,000 visitors, unique users actually, to our web app.
Are you 100% certain that's real users, or is it like one person and it could be like 100 or bots or whatever? Do you think that's because people don't believe those are? Now I know I can say people for this one. I see people, they don't believe that those are real users.
Why wouldn't they believe?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Okay, well, they don't believe because I mean, the whole thing is pretty unbelievable. I mean, like,
yeah, like it is kind of unbelievable. Like it's a lot. That's a lot of wallets, man. And you go to the Twitter and you go to the numbers, you see some pretty good numbers, but it's just like, swear, are they just not on Twitter, or what's going? Like, where are these people at? Basically.
So I mean, a lot of them don't even speak English. They're in China.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what you're thinking.
I mean, okay. I don't have to think. I mean, like, yeah. I go to Google Analytics and it tells me.
Yeah, you have the Google Analytics though.
Yeah, but I share it. Like, you can literally ask me to share a screen and I'll share it.
I see.
It's totally not an issue.
Yeah, I know it's not. Go ahead.
And those numbers come from Google Analytics, so that's how they count unique users. And by the way, this is coin tools and bulk minter notwithstanding. So this is literally just the web app.
So it's real people, but then there's just only how many wallets? There's only like 38,000 wallets. You think that's because everybody's just dumb? Because when you dump a wallet, empty it.
Well, wait a second. Have you looked at Binance?
No, I haven't looked at Binance stats in a while.
Binance has like 2 times or 3 times more wallets for Zen.
Okay, let me check it out. Let me check it out here.
And we're on 10 different chains, but the web app is all the same. So the web app receives all the users for all the chains.
It says 60,000. That's double. I'm talking about actual holders, not the C rank. I think it's
yeah, that's the number. That's the number. So is that the BAC scan you're looking? Yeah, it is. So what does it say?
61,000, 60,000.
Okay,
Got up to 61.
Okay, so plus Ethereum, right?
Okay.
So that's
And then
100,000
we can
wallets.
see. I only have on hand. I only have BSC and Polygon. Polygon at 32. So yeah, it's like where are they just dumping? Where are the other? Are they just visiting and not?
So a lot of them are actually sitting on exchanges too. I mean, if you look at the exchange ratio of the allocation, you could imagine that whatever is off chain is actually, I mean, whatever is off, not on chain, is likely in
but
the
like
exchange.
not in their wallet, in their own wallet.
Exactly. So those exchanges, they aggregate a lot of users in a single designated wallet. Like MEXC, you can see like what, 15%. And if you look in let's assume for a second that 25% of all supply, like I don't see those numbers from here, but can you add them up like real quick and see what they are?
It's about
like
30.
Top 4.
Let's see. 29, 32, about 32.
Okay, 32. So we know that the supply is pretty evenly distributed, which means that it's a lot of users. So a third of all the supply is now currently dispersed among the users that are trading on centralized exchanges, I think. And so that is something that we don't see on the web app, those users. So because they're trading. Like I don't have to go to a web app to get myself some Zen if I have the MEXC account. But anyway, back to the numbers and the point I was trying to make. Okay. So the whole thing is unbelievable. And what really, I guess, warms my heart, like so to speak. I mean, that is if I have a heart, because I've been told that I'm undead or something.
Yeah, we can get into that.
Yeah, I was absolutely. we should discuss that. But what makes me happy is that the populace is really, really, really into Zen and minting Zen, and there's many teams out there, like a lot of Asians that are building stuff on top of it. And so this is my answer in regards to the price. So right now, our team is pretty much making all the news, but CryptoCell guys, they're also working on a lot of cool stuff, and they're going to be making news of their own. Now, let's multiply it times 500 within the next 2 to 3 years. Every team that wants to build on Zen will be making news. And so those news will be trickling in, and we'll be aggregating those news, obviously amplifying them. And that's bullish for price. So I feel like with the better crypto environment, when we're in the bull market and the liquidity will be there, then anytime somebody comes up with a cool method to use Zen, like for example, World of Warcraft could plug in Zen, Twitter could plug in Zen. I'm talking about the big things, but the small things matter too, because they're more numerous. And Chinese market and Asian market, Southeast Asia, South Korea.
I would say you are the first that I've seen like do like a translation chat with Asians. Like that was very interesting to listen to, like how they translate and everything. That's cool to see.
Yeah, and all of those guys. So the CryptoCell Labs, they're like a hub of a lot of OGs in crypto, and a lot of those OGs have reached out to me, trying to engage our community with their community and build stuff. So it's very interesting. It's a world that I haven't seen. But in Asia, they're about 3 or 4 years more advanced than us here. Singapore, for example, 10% of populace actually use crypto, one way or the other, whether it's trading or something else or DeFi.
And what about everywhere else?
Well, everywhere else on aggregate is 5%, and I think in America, especially Midwest, is like 2%, maybe 1%.
Yeah, I can see the Midwest being like 2%. All right, let's get into some of these questions. I want to go towards the hex stuff because I feel like we got a lot of, I would say, there's some unanswered vibe. I can't think of any other way to put
unanswered
it.
Vibe. Okay, well let's figure it out.
So yeah, let's figure it out. So how did you find? When did you first meet Richard Hart or learn of him?
I learned of him, I would say mid-May of this year.
Is that a joke, or is that just like a coincidence? Is mid-May of this year?
What happened in mid-May? I mean,
mid-May is when Post Chain is supposed to come out.
Oh, well, I had no idea.
Mid-May of this year or last year?
This year, 2022.
So you didn't learn about Richard Hart until 2022?
Yeah.
Wow. I had all this time, I had been thinking that you had learned about Richard Hart. You had been knew about Richard Hart, but just, somebody, I figured, because I heard that Maddie invited you to the Post Chain thing, right? Maddie All-In?
Yeah, but that was later.
Okay, so you found out about Richard Hart in mid-May, and then somebody reached out to you from Hex? Or were you typing in the community? How did somebody find you and find out that you were into Hex?
I think my first tweet about Hex, I said, this chart looks like shit or something like that. And Richard immediately responded, said, okay, extend your time frame to the launch. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he wants me to show all-time lows and then go from there, which is fine. And so I extended the chart, and I actually tweeted that chart, and I said, yeah, I mean, if you extend to all-time low, you're like 2,500 times X from the bottom, which is awesome.
So your first interaction with Hex was, did you have any Hex when you said that?
No, I mean, like literally it was like day one. I was researching Hex. I'm like, what is this scammy looking thing? I mean, like,
this was in May, you were researching Hex?
So here's the timeline. So okay. I hear that Elon is rocking the boat, and I go back into Twitter because I haven't.
So hold on, you're not even really like. So are you? What were you doing? What was your daily life before you got back on Twitter? What were you doing? You just chilling?
No, dude. I ran.
It sounds like you were really unplugged.
I ran 3 startups.
Okay.
So you
were just unplugged.
ImageCheck.com, Inventify.com, and Imagizer.com, and we have customers, and I have a team, and it's a lot of it is B2B. So like, it's not that I have to wear a suit and tie all the time, but definitely I need to be interacting with those, big guys. Nordstrom.com, for example, used this. I mean, we talked to Macy's about using Imagizer.com. So there's a lot of action with that product. So it took a lot of my time, and crypto was like sitting as an afterthought. But then, of course, the virus comes, so to speak.
Okay.
And everything goes insane, including crypto. And I'm like, okay, I should really start researching crypto again because people are going nuts. And so in May, I go back into Twitter because Elon is rocking the boat, and I'm like, okay, I want to be there just to see what happens.
What was it that he did that made you like go back to Twitter? Like, what you mean by rocking the boat?
Well, the conversation started about him buying it.
Okay.
So, and I figured, okay, if he's buying it, then Twitter might still be important. Like, I was not on Twitter at all. I was just doing my thing, working with my startups, and that was my day to day. And so I get back onto Twitter, and I started researching different blockchains, just conversations about different blockchains. And Pulse Chain comes up. And at first, I don't put Pulse Chain and Hex as the same organization, like, so to speak. I figured that something else completely different. And so I message a friend of mine. I'm like, what is this Pulse Chain? Like, a lot of people seem to be excited. There's a lot of activity there. Like, what's happening? Is this like a better Ethereum?
Do you mind if I ask? I mean, I know you don't want to say his name, but is it like somebody that was like deep in crypto, or somebody like a whale, or just a regular guy in crypto?
I would say a dolphin.
Okay, so this guy knows crypto.
Yeah, a dolphin. I mean, that's the guy who actually bought a lot of Solana when it was like 50 cents, and then sold it at 200.
Yeah.
So
nice.
So definitely was.
Are you the friend?
What?
Are you the friend that you're talking about? Or is it just really a friend?
No, dude. When I
You
say
did buy Solana?
you know, I'm not as cunning as you are in terms of using your language. So
Nah.
you know, in English is my second language anyway. So I usually speak like I see it. It was
Yeah.
definitely a friend. I asked
Nah,
him.
man.
He was
Hold up. Hold on. We ain't gonna let you do that though. We ain't gonna let you do that. I don't be doing that. I don't do that.
okay. But anyway, it was a real person, and
Okay.
and he said Pulse Chain is this thing by Richard Hart, and I'm like, okay, so I should look up Richard Hart, and I find Hex, and Hex looks like a scam, and I look at Richard, he looks like a scammer, and then I turn on some of his YouTube videos, and they're very educational. I actually loved what he was saying. Like it totally vibed with me. Like I really enjoyed listening to one of his 6 hour videos where he was just rambling about crypto. And I think I was like driving to Tahoe, and I was listening to him like on the way in and on the way out. So it was like 12 hours of Richard. And I'm like, this dude dresses like this, but he actually sounds like the most intelligent person I know in crypto. That was my perception. And then I
Okay.
thought, okay, well, what's the deal with hacks being so scammy looking or presented like a scam? And I thought that there may be some kind of a deep psychological thing happening there, and maybe it's like some sort of clever marketing that I just don't get yet. So I need to figure this out. And then I started looking at the chart and kind of like interacting with the community members. And when I tweeted about the chart, a lot of hexagons, they wanted like to murder me or something. And then I said, okay, well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, just expanding the chart to 2 years actually makes it look better. It's okay. It's fine. That's how it looks for many cryptos. And so Matt, I guess his name, from Crypto Coffee or Crypto Coffee channel, he invited me to do a stream, and it was my first stream ever. I never
Hold on.
been.
You're talking about Matty All In, right? Because you
No,
said
no,
Matt
no,
from
no, no,
Crypto
no.
Coffee.
It was Crypto Coffee was the first one.
Oh, they both named Matt.
Yeah. So Matty and
Okay.
Matt.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Yeah. So Crypto Coffee invites me to a stream, and I never been on the stream in my life, and so we just have this conversation about Bitcoin and about some financial instruments, and it gets very warm response. And right afterwards, I get 5 more requests from hexagons to get me to talk to them too. And that was my first engagement with the community. That's how that went down.
Okay. So it was basically their fault, basically.
I don't think it's anybody's fault.
I mean, not fault, but I kid. Like
Yeah.
it was their own. They're mad that their own leaders introduced you to them, basically. So that's kind of like what it seems like. So yeah, I mean that kind of like wraps it up actually, because I mean, what can you say? People think it was. I mean, I guess it was kind of. Did you see it as an opportunity? Like, oh man, I got a little audience now. I should create a coin. Or were you already thinking about Zen, or what?
I was thinking to do some sort of a project at some point, but I would always delay it just because I didn't feel like there should have been another shitcoin out there, unless it's a serious thing. So, but specifically, it was on the many streams that I have done. People just kept asking, "When's Jackcoin? When's Jackcoin? When's Jackcoin? Should it be an apple cider vinegar coin?"
Yeah, you kind of that was kind of awkward. I mean, I ain't mean to say that, but man, I saw that, and I was, because at first when I was first watching the interview, I was already kind of like, I never seen. Maybe I just was kind of mishearing it, but out of all the people I watched Richard Hart like talk to, you were the first one that he seemed like he respected going into. Like everybody else was like, to him was like a pleb. Because I've been following Richard Hart since 2016 when he was doing Bitcoin Group. So out of all the people that he talked to I seen him do interviews with and chat with, you were the first person that it seemed like he kind of like, I don't want to say look up to, but kind of respected. So I was already listening, kind of like glued. And then when you brought up the apple cider thing, and it kind of like reveals, it kind of like you kind of made you picture Richard Hart. Like, how would you know something like? Because I didn't know that about gnats. You could catch them with apple cider vinegar. I knew you could catch them. They had like little catchers, but I didn't know that you could catch them with apple cider vinegar. And you were like, "Do you have some type of gnat problem?" That kind of like that was I never seen anybody. I don't want to say kind of. I love Richard Hart too, but I never seen anybody like jab him. That was a good jab, bro. Basically, that was a good jab.
Well, he gave me a compliment. He said that longevity-wise, I appear to look a little younger than him, and so I just made the joke. I'm like, well, I actually believe that apple cider vinegar actually helps you, and so I just happened to be sipping one when we had the interview. So.
But I think everybody, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think the whole apple cider vinegar coin idea is what stemmed from. It sounded like you took it. Seemed like you took a jab at him. Like,
no,
how you know?
No.
That's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, no.
I seemed like everybody's like apple cider vinegar coin because it's like, what was so funny about that? Then what's the point of making apple cider vinegar? What's so funny about apple cider vinegar coin? Like, why would anybody say that?
So, like for me, like every stream that I have had, people were asking for Jack coin. And there was a lot of memes happening with like proof of vinegar. Like people would open their fridges and show it's full of vinegar bottles. And I thought, oh, that's so cool. You know, maybe we should have like a blockchain that's like based on proof of vinegar. Like if your fridge is stuffed with vinegar, then you have a blockchain. I mean, it was all just fun and games. I mean, it was nothing serious about it. So I 100% certain it has nothing to do with Richard having a coin. At least in my mind, it was just me having fun with people and people having fun with me, and that's all. So
hold on, get back to it. So okay, that's one I wanted to ask you about. Like, that seemed like that just seemed like a jab to me. I want to pull up the chat and ask some questions, but every time I pull up the chat, it kind of like takes you off the screen.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Like, I think you mentioned why Richard felt like talking to me, I guess, as equal. It's because I didn't attack him. Like most of the people that interview him, they always come up with ways to attack him one way or the other, and I think he derives like energy from this. So he, you know how he tweets.
I agree with you, but you say you haven't been following him since 2022. I agree with you to a certain extent. In the beginning, when the stream starts, he treats everyone kind of like, "What's up, man?" He's pretty cordial. He doesn't come out swinging. And you were the first one. You can try and keep hitting this back to me, but you were. I'm just gonna say that's just my first opinion. You were the first one that it seemed like he was the one down here, and he was looking up to you. Is basically what I'm saying.
So I see your perspective. At the time, for me, it didn't feel like anything just because I had no experience with those type of conversations. And so, I mean, it's cool, I guess. But at the same time, I didn't feel like being. I didn't want to judge
like
him.
Brag, bro. Brag.
Yeah.
When he said that I mean, maybe that's where he messed up at. Where I think if anybody's, I'm just basically trying to see who should the Hexicans be mad at, and I just don't think it's you. You know,
I don't think anybody should be mad at anybody. Like,
I know they shouldn't. Nobody should. Of course, nobody should be mad at anybody. But I mean, we live here on Earth, right? So people are going to be mad. And it's like, if you're going to point your anger at somebody, if you're going to be mad, is basically what I'm saying. I don't think anybody should be really mad at you, because it's like you just got caught up in the middle of it. And I don't think you was this. Did you create a coin? Like, I think I asked this already, but did you create the coin just because you saw that you were starting to gain a community from Hex?
I mean, it started as a joke, but then I thought it really should be serious. I mean, but listen, I mean, of course, if people are reacting to you and they're listening to what you're saying and there's positivity there, then it is a positive thing for the project. Like, I could have just started something that wasn't even on Twitter. And again, the whole thing was just an experiment to start with. But then I asked myself, what should I do to actually to make it important for people. And everything just kind of came to me pretty much in a dream, like one night, where I saw Bitcoin having a message, and then this message being diluted, and a lot of shit coins just destroying people's confidence in crypto, and crypto being this cesspool of insanity. And so I thought that if I were to model Bitcoin protocol but make it on Ethereum, and make it simple enough, and actually not have the founding team having any tokens, that could be very interesting. And but again, I mean, like, there's two reasons. Like, the important thing to know is what happened first. So people did ask me, like, when's my coin coming out, and that made me think that I should have one. So it wasn't like I planned to even have that conversation.
I think Hess can see it as you kind of you had it in a thought in your mind, and that's why you kind of woke out of your slumber. You woke out of your slumber on Twitter and said, "I'm going to make a coin. I'm going to target these guys. That's the base community."
I mean,
that's what I think. That's what they think, though.
I understand, but I'm not that much of a planner, like, to be honest. I mean, but thanks for the compliment, though.
It's like, crypto people will put somebody on a pedestal, man. They'll put somebody way up there. I think it's, I think Richard Hart's a good person to have on a pedestal,
Sure.
But they will grab somebody and give them put their thoughts on why this guy is the guy, So yeah. So why do you think post-chain is taking so
long? Because the plan was to copy everybody's assets, world's largest airdrop and stuff like that. And all of a sudden things change with Ethereum too. And I think maybe the underlying structure has changed, so you can't just like easily airdrop copies anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying so you don't think that was ever the plan? You don't think that? I kind of had to get this feeling that, like, I don't know, man. I trust Richard Hart, but I kind of feel like he's like not being complete. It's just something about him. I don't know if it's the people that's like whispering about him, like on Twitter and stuff, but it's like this vibe, like he's not being completely honest about stuff. That's why I kind of wanted to come. I made the joke about confronting you because I know I can ask you. You say that we can ask you anything, but it seems like if with certain people you could ask them something, but they won't really give you the full truth of the situation. But and even if they are, it doesn't seem like they are. Like the mid-May thing, our developers messed up. It seems like he's like, yeah, I can tell you anything because I you know what I'm saying, I can say whatever. So I kind of feel like he was already, like, that's why I really wanted to stream with him. But last time I tried to stream with him, he kind of he ignored me. He didn't want to. I gave him the questions that I wanted to talk about. And he just kind of ignored me. So I kind of gotta like treat you like Richard Hart and ask you what you think he's like. What do you think? But you haven't even known him for that long, so it's kind of like, But it kind of seems like he's like saying one thing and then actually like not. That's not really what the plan is.
Well, I think
like,
when you depend on somebody else's either making progress or not making progress, you just can never come up with a good timeline. Like, especially, like, you could argue that Ethereum team, which is probably the best team that's building Ethereum right now, it's their own team, outcompeted Richard, so to speak.
Basically, he had to know that ETH 2 is coming out, right?
But it could have failed. I mean, it could have been problematic.
So you're saying that he probably was like, okay, let's do something just in case it fails. Let's start up working on our thing just in case this thing never comes out. And if it comes out, we're gonna copy it.
I mean, I don't think even Vitalik really knew exact timeline when Ethereum 2 is coming out. I mean, eventually it got announced, but it wasn't like...
I think everybody feels what I'm trying to say, though. Like, you had to know you're on Ethereum, ETH 2.0. Everybody can tell it's kind of close. It's always been kind of close. If you're gonna if you're gonna just copy it anyway, just wait and copy it. Why make it seem like it's so urgent? And then like mid-May, what was that about? Like it just doesn't seem honest. And that's why like people not really liking me. Heskin's not really liking me right now because I'm asking these questions. But it's just like I gotta wonder this stuff. I kind of wonder this stuff.
Yeah.
It's out loud, you know?
Well, Ethereum proof of work copied the state and it's created quote unquote world's largest airdrop on their chain before Pulse chain.
Yeah.
So that happened.
It's kind of weird. Like, what's kind of it's some people will say post chain is coming out. It's like, well, what's really? And then people will say, well, he's timing the bottom. It's like, maybe. Do you think that's even would that even be worth it? Timing, waiting for the bottom of crypto to launch.
I don't believe in waiting at all.
And he even said that to me in a DM. He was like, I'm not that, but he said, I'm a fan of getting to market as soon as possible. He literally said that in a DM to me.
Yeah.
Because he asked me, he asked me something about Phantom. He asked me something about Phantom and what I think about how they're doing things. I'm like, I don't really understand what your question is. And then it was about a DAO. He was asking about the DAO. And I was like, I don't think you should delay post chain for a DAO. That's just my thoughts. And he's like, well, I'm a fan of getting the market as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're a fan of getting the market as soon as possible, what is this? What's taking so long? Like, what's so hard about what is the challenge? You know, I don't see where the challenge is now.
Well, the challenge is that you don't get to copy the state. I think that's the challenge.
You don't get to copy the ETH2 state.
I mean, he needs to. He wants to. That was the plan. And so when the whole thing changed, now the plans have changed, like so to speak, because I don't think you can copy two different states. Like,
so can you copy? Let me ask this. Let me just ask this thing. Can you copy ETH2 now? Can you copy? You can clone that in?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can do it. The problem is that if you worked on ETH1, or which I believe actually people, and that's just from people saying, wasn't it a BSC clone and not really Ethereum?
Right.
And so I think BSC was compatible with the state from ETH1, but now that things have changed, all of a sudden BSC is no longer going to be compatible with the new state on the new chain.
Okay.
That's my guess.
That's a little over. I get you, but it's a little over my head.
Well, it's like upgrading Windows, and it's no longer your video game that you have all the stuff saved is no longer compatible. You have to like update it too.
Now that makes sense. So he's got to start from scratch, basically.
Yeah, I mean everything changed. Security model changed. Consensus mechanism changed. Everything changed.
So you're saying it's a good excuse to say to why ETH 2.0, even though it's just a copy and paste job, it's not really a copy and paste job. That's what you're saying.
I mean, it would be, but then you still need to learn how the new thing works. And they know.
Gotcha.
And they knew how to work BSC, I assume, because they spent enough time playing with it. I mean, Pulse Chain testnet.
So ETH2 is that much different?
That's my guess.
Okay.
I mean, technically, he should have just said that that's exactly what it is, and then it would have been clear.
What's exactly what it is?
Like you can't have Pulse Chain testnet absorb the state from Ethereum 2.
Okay. So it makes sense that it's taking a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that's basically.
Here's the thing: if I were to launch a blockchain, that is not the way that I would do it. It would probably take.
How would you do it? If you wouldn't worry about copying or any of that stuff?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about copying at all. Like I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think ETH proof of work proved that nobody really cares about the airdrop.
Right. I mean, I understand his thing with horizontal scaling. I don't think it's actually really would have been so amazing. And frankly, I mean, we can see that Ethereum proof of work kind of works, but it's not like incredibly amazing yet. Maybe it will be. Who knows?
I think the problem is just no liquidity. It's just it doesn't feel like you feel like you're wasting your time.
Right. I mean, for sure. And there's like this whole situation with bridges and this and that. Yeah, but anyway, the way that I would do it, I would go with the Cosmos SDK. And they have an SDK that you can literally install and run. Like you can install it on AWS, Amazon right now, and you'll have a blockchain.
Would that still be like Ethereum?
Yeah.
Compatible?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, they have.
Yeah, I'm not. People tell me to get into Cosmos, but I just haven't. It's just something about
Yeah,
it.
they have 2
I got wrecked
versions.
on Cosmos. I think that's what it was. I bought it a little high.
Yeah, I mean, that's one option. The other option is to go to Polygon, and they have Polygon Edge product. You also download it, you install it. It has full support, so you don't even have to know much. And then you tweak or change the configuration file for the consensus mechanism, and you make it work with delegation and staking and everything. And then what I would do, I would link hacks on Ethereum to gas use on the new chain. So, for example, develop a protocol that somehow produces gas on Ethereum so that people would be able to produce gas and then move the gas to the new chain.
And that's what I thought he was going to do anyway. I remember when he first, I can't remember if I asked him or if I just found out, but I thought he would have used, I thought he was going to airdrop to hexagons and then, like use hex as gas. That seems like the dopest way to do it. And you start burning hex. It's like the airdrop. I guess the airdrop is a marketing thing, but
I mean, it's a marketing thing because it makes you feel like you have doubled something up.
Yeah.
Like you have 1,000 Ethereum, all of a sudden you have 2,000 Ethereum.
Right.
But I think the cat is out of the bag, so to speak, with ETH-POW.
Yeah, like nobody cares about the airdrop. And I would be cool with him just saying, you know what, drop the airdrop. Here's your post chain, your coins, your post chain coins. If you want to bridge them, start from there.
Yeah,
just go from there. I don't care about the airdrop.
So
unless it's going to be a ton of liquidity, unless what I think is going to happen is that all the SAC funds are going to be used as liquidity for post chain. So if he's going to bridge all that USD, well, you got to pick which coin you want to bridge over now, though. If you're going to bridge all the stable coins over to post chain and then use them as liquidity, then I might care about the airdrop because now I actually might have doubled or made an extra 25%.
So that's where there's a lot of risk actually with this whole sacrifice because of SEC right now. So SEC may actually
SEC
will require all of the sacrifice funds to be transferred to a trust account and then paid back to the people.
If he tried to do a bridge, if he tried to use
regardless of what happens, there's a situation with SEC right now. So
what's the situation?
Well, you know how subpoenas went to hexagons. Everybody got a subpoena for promoting something. Like, I mean, there's a list of things.
They want information. I don't know if they got it I don't think they got it for promoting. I think they're just trying to gather information.
Sure.
From people that might have inside information.
So I bet, and that's just a bet, maybe not the case, but SEC is probably trying to decide if Pulse quote-unquote sacrifice was actually an investment into a security.
So if he tries to use the funds as some type of, that would pull some red.
I mean, this whole conversation about no expectations, and yet everybody have them.
Yeah, like how can we not? It's like
because it's just words. I mean, and in the court of law, I mean, you can call.
Yeah, I say a judge. Like I say, a judge is going to be a judge.
Yeah, I mean, you can
say like you can. She's gonna be like you. That's a sacrifice. You know what she was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can call it whatever you want. It was an investment.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not gonna call it that. You can call it that.
I mean, I haven't made one, but if I was a third party and I would say, okay, here's a bunch of people who somehow gave up, I don't know what the total dollar amount, like what, a couple of billion.
Like I think it got to one. It was close to one. I think they were like shooting. I think they were like rounding up.
Wasn't there? It was like 900. Pulsex also like got a bunch.
Yeah, but I think it totaled up to both of them together totaled up to like close to 1 billion. I can't remember.
Okay, well it's still a lot.
I think they rounded up.
I mean, even 10 million.
It is.
Is a lot, and it
was mostly hex too.
I mean, and here's the question.
So it's really like 200 million.
Why did that SEC thing came up just now?
I think because he touched his feet on U.S. soil. That's what I was thinking.
I think it's something else. I think it's something else. I think it's because of the messaging around Pulse chain potentially not coming out soon enough.
Yeah, because there was some questions asked to me like, do I think it's possible? I'm like, yeah, I think it's possible. Why wouldn't it come out? But they were like, well, no, not so much of possible. Do you think he can bring the gains that he's promising? I'm like, well, he didn't really promise any gains. He might have led us on to think he's going to launch a post chain, but as far as gains, that's just the community doing that.
Right.
So they're thinking like, well, the person I talked to, they're thinking, is it possible that he can bring gains? But there really are no gains promised from Richard Hart or any development. From my point of view, the community, they the ones that's 10,000x possibility, So
hold on, wait a second. No gains for Richard? What do you mean?
No, like Richard Hart never said Post-chain's gonna come out and it's gonna do 1,000x or 10,000. At least I didn't hear him. I don't watch the full streams, but
yeah, but you can put two and two together. You know.
Yeah, as far as like a judge goes, yeah.
I mean, obviously it should have pumped when I mean the pulse should have pumped because everybody's like holding.
I would expect it to dump.
Dump from where though?
Yeah, it's from somebody who buy it, somebody who buys it too high.
Yeah, it's all about the ratios, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
a scary conversation right there, man. Because that's kind of interesting. Like but you say it makes sense that it's taking a while. But so you're saying if it comes out, it's a problem?
Well, I'm saying is that there is now this extra element of uncertainty, which is the SEC.
But you said that if it comes out, it would be. Oh, if you said if he used the funds, got you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the funds were supposed to have been an integral part of the success of the project. Otherwise, like why do it?
Or maybe it's used to. I think so. You're saying, yeah. So maybe that's why he's doing the close thing. Maybe he's he's trying to say that no, I'm not using. I'm blowing all of this. This is my money.
I don't think it's. I think it's separate. This whole thing is separate. But I think, I guess, to address the complexity of launching a chain that have had the sacrifice funds somehow linked, now SEC presents a problem, or it's another variable that, if I were the founder of anything, I would be concerned because they're looking at everything I'm doing.
Yeah. Even though there's really no way for them to prove that he's using it because of Tornado Cash. There wouldn't be any way to really prove that he used the funds to pump post-chain.
I don't think that's even gonna matter. It's all about perception. So,
but what if everybody's happy? You don't think? Because I feel like people got mad about BitConnect because it crashed. Well, nah, they weren't even tripping about that. Nah, think about because BitConnect was doing fine.
Well, I think somebody's got unhappy for some reason, and I think it's a combination of Pulse chain being late and it's in a bear market. If I'm losing all of my money on Ethereum and Bitcoin just falling, and I know that some of my money in the sacrifice pool is sitting in a stable coin, wouldn't I want to?
I mean, the sacrifice happened when prices were high.
Sure, but they converted to stables now.
Yeah, and it's like you kind of sold. It's kind of like Cardano. I use Cardano to sacrifice. Well, I sold like some of my Cardano and used that as USDC. So I basically sold it. It's a way to me to sell the top, basically. If post chain comes out, it was a way to sell the top. I think that's how some people are seeing it. Well, that's how I'm seeing it.
Right. So I think somebody wants their money back. Somebody. We don't know who, but somebody does.
Yeah. Somebody wants their money back.
So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know where. Let's see if we got any more questions.
My chat is exploding with Zen questions.
Oh, really? Go answer one.
Yeah, somebody says they're unhappy that a guest is invited for Zen and talk about Hex and other conflicts.
Oh, so they're mad you're talking about Hex. That's crazy. It's like reverse. It's like, how is this guy talking about Hex?
They're like, somebody says, ZenFTs, please talk about ZenFTs. Zen
what about it?
Zen will connect the world, people say. Somebody asks, when are you gonna launch Zen Network? So blockchain.
Ask him about Popcorn having admin keys and how that goes against the press. Yeah. So I came on that stream and asked if Popcorn had admin keys, and the guy basically said, it kind of caught him off guard too, which is kind of funny. But he basically said, long story short, yeah. And I wanted to ask you, did you know that it had admin keys before?
I personally never looked at their contract.
Okay, so you didn't know.
But I understand that because they have a DAO and they're making changes, there's at least a portion of the contract probably has some sort of controls. And like the way that their thing works is that they plug into Arrakis and Curve Finance, and Curve Finance and Arrakis come up with new products all the time. So for them to generate yield and to add new products into their backend, they would have to have some sort of control. So it's kind of makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you support it now, knowing that it has admin keys? Being that you're like your first principles, no admin keys, immutable. Can you still support that?
Well, I think because the way that their whole project has been set up, I don't think there is a way to do it any other way. And I would say, and I always come from perspective that unless it's set up to scam specifically, the only thing that admin keys at this point indicate is extra risk, because if they lose them, then the funds could be gone, technically. So I can't say that. I mean, like, first principles can only be really simple things, like Zen. Zen is only 400 lines of code, very simple, and it's not supposed to be changing. Like the code spells out the rules, and the rules are set in stone, like, so to speak. Now their project is an evolving project, and I expect them to have control. Now, is it first principles? Maybe not 100%.
I would say it's about 25% first principles.
But their thing is a protocol. It's not a cryptocurrency. So it's much easier to say that my cryptocurrency is first principles when the only thing it does, it makes more of itself, and then have people hold it.
I would say the only part about Popcorn is first principles is you got your own keys, and then immutable, nope, and then so it's 3.
Well, I think a lot of things probably with their contract are immutable, and they also been audited, so it's kind of a good thing.
So immutable means you can't turn it off, right?
Not only, it also means you can't change it. Like it has no mutability. Immutability is change. But here's the thing, like Binance, is it the first principles chain? Not so much, actually.
It's not the it's centralized. It's centralized, so somebody can shut it off.
I mean, they can shut it off, roll back transactions, change anything they want.
Yeah.
I mean, Doge chain just now stopped.
Man, that turned me off. That turned me off. They cut the whole coin tool, and I was like, man, Doge chain's looking good. And then they just go and cut off a whole smart contract. It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's a problem. But things like that should be exposed.
Yeah, and so that's why I ask you too. Like, is that why is that why Zen works the way it does? Is it kind of like lowers the tide, and so everybody can see who's wearing shorts.
Whose emperor has no clothes, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the analogy.
Right. So yeah, I mean,
Ethereum's doing. So which ones are doing the best? Ethereum. I say Ethereum. This one I want to ask you too. Which chains have the burn and which ones don't so far?
The burn,
like the transactions, like ETH burns ETH.
Well, all of them.
They all burn.
Yeah. Oh wait.
No, so I mean Polygon. When you
Polygon burns. Yeah.
BSC, does it burn?
Not certain. I think all the gas may actually go to CC.
Oh man.
So he's probably very happy. He doesn't need to be.
He's probably pretty happy
He's
though.
like, hey, more BNB for me. Boo.
Okay. What's the other one? So Polygon. Does Dogechain have to burn? Do you know?
I what is it a clone of? Okay, it's based on Polygon
Okay.
Edge, so it does have a burn.
Okay, so probably most of them have the burn except for BSC.
Yeah. They all like to have the burn implemented.
Yeah.
And burn is awesome. I think.
So yeah, he doesn't. So my bad, Richard Hart, but he doesn't even need to copy E2.
No.
To get the burn.
No,
Yeah.
no. He doesn't. I mean, there's so many ways to do it without copying anything, and you could have done it in 2 weeks.
Damn. That's yeah. Okay,
You just need 2 guys. The only reason you need 2 guys, you could do with 1, but if one of them gets sick, at least you have a backup. 2 guys could do it.
Okay. So what is it then? I'm sorry to go back, Zenians. I'm sorry to go back to this, but it's like, well, why is he not doing that?
It's a complex issue. It's a very complex issue,
okay,
and only he would know.
Oh, okay. Damn, man, launch the damn post chain. Let's see if I got any more questions. Does the Zen burn? Does the burn Zen for ZenFT act the same as when Zen is burned for staking, or is it gone forever? I think
it's gone forever.
I thought so.
Yeah, it's gone forever. Where with staking, it actually gets burned and then reminted when you get it back.
Oh yeah. Would you recommend claim and sell and then mint more Zen?
Claim, sell, and mint.
Yeah.
So I would recommend mint and stake for the longest time possible, because 20% gets locked in and you will never get 20% again.
Yeah, that is locked in. So when it drops to 19, you'll still have 20?
That's right. It's like a mortgage.
What day we on?
It's like a mortgage lock. We're still at 20%. So it's like a mortgage lock. So you lock in your interest for 1,000 days.
Oh wow! If you do for 1,000,
right?
Let me see. Zen.network.
Yeah, and so if you miss out on that, then next year technically it goes down 1% every 90 days. So
yeah, so we're like a month away from that going down.
Right, by 1%. It's not gonna bite so much, but it would be biting if you miss a couple of years. Like next year, it's gonna be 16%.
I think that's pretty bullish too. The 90-day mark, when that drops to 20, I think there'll be a little FOMO on that, locking in that 20.
Well, here's the thing. Like right now, we have 10% of the supply staked. And that's interesting because it's a short-term minters that are staking. Short-term minters. They kind of have had the short-term time horizon, and yet 10% of people are staking. Now imagine 100 days coming due. Those people have an extended time horizon. So there likely there will be a bigger percentage of people staking.
Yeah, for a longer time.
And then 300 days come due. They're probably gonna be even more of Zen's gonna get off the market and be locked in for perhaps 1,000 days.
So your speculation is that as we go further along, we start to see people with longer time horizons stake for longer time horizons.
It kind of makes sense. Like why are they waiting with the longest mints?
Yeah, if they don't have high time.
Like we could say that people who are short-term minters are just testing, and it's 10% of them are testing, but that number 10% is actually large enough to be significant.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be more like 3%, but it's 10, which is great.
This one right here, I didn't really understand what they're trying to ask, but maybe you can kind of figure it out. When everyone claims VMU, the supply will be 500 trillions. Single VMU is like 2 billion. Do you get what they're trying to ask?
I think they're saying is that with VMUs and the built-in bulk minting, there will simply be more minting in the future. But let's not forget that the first 2 categories of NFTs actually require you to do 100 VMUs or more. So you pay the most gas. Now you can manipulate your days out And with the unicorn, you can say one day unicorn, but then it kind of becomes not really worthless, but it wouldn't have the as much oomph in the mint.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That'd be kind of stupid.
So you want it to be like 450 days. And that actually means that the people are encouraged to mint a lot as far with the time as possible. And therefore, the actual impact on the supply is going to be a year and a half from now. I mean, after NFT's launch. So yeah, but and also to burn, right? You need to burn now to get something else later.
So you when let me ask you this, because I know people want to know, when is NFT? You said first you said end of November.
Yeah.
Then you said early December.
Yeah.
Now I heard you say yesterday by the end of December. So are you post-chaining us, bro?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Let's add a little bit of pulse chain sauce. I mean, it definitely it works. It works.
Right. Like, but are you posting this?
The truth of the matter is this: is that
software is hard.
No, software is not hard. We just don't wanna mess things up. And like, imagine you're unable to claim your unicorn money later, and then you actually sell it to someone else who expects to mint, and then it doesn't work.
Oh man,
so that would suck.
Now you're the scammer because you sold the NFT to them.
Right. I mean, and it wouldn't be like me selling. It would be like you would mint it, and then you would sell it, and then you're the scammer.
The user is the scammer. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah. So that would really be bad. And so we are really looking at everything like under a microscope, and it has more code in it just because it's like 3 or 4 tokens in one, where Zen was just 1 token.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So when?
So is it the one with an H or just one without the H?
With an H, please.
you mean like the normal language?
Yes, the truth.
I think. So we're talking to the auditors now. All the bugs seem to be fixed, and we just got the testnet 4 out, and I'm pretty happy how
testnet 4.
Yeah, testnet 4 is out. I'm pretty happy how it works.
Does this one have the 10 billion in it?
No, it still has because we haven't announced officially what the number will be yet. So it has the numbers, but they're not matching. So everything seems to be working. So we're deep in the weeds reviewing the outputs from all of the users testing and collecting everybody's feedback, also talking to auditors. So I would say the best case scenario, 3 weeks.
You're posting this, bro.
Yeah.
That's to say, you've been saying 3 weeks for the past 3 weeks. It's all good.
But let me tell you this though, is that it's actually well. First of all, let's say that the code is going to be accurate and everything's going to work well. For the best economic outcome, it seems that so many people are picking up the story and educating themselves how to get this done. It may actually be better to not to rush, where people are unaware what they can do, and then there might be a conversation such as like we rushed with it and all the whales have benefited.
Oh, I thought you were saying like the longer it takes, the more people get to learn about it and get their expertise up.
Well, it's true. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you get to practice 20 times and not 1 time, and you don't feel like FOMOing in, and like, here's my worry. Remember Yuga Labs launching, and Ethereum went 2,500 Gwei gas price.
I mean, I believe you, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. So I studied the case, and 10% of transactions actually failed. And they lost all of their gas money, and that was a huge deal. Like, really, 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 really poor execution. I mean, it wasn't really
Yuga Labs is who?
It's the Bored Apes.
Okay, yeah,
all that stuff. So people aped in, and they paid tens of thousands of dollars in gas, only to see their transactions fail.
Wow.
And actually not get anything. And obviously Ethereum would not refund anything. So Yuga Labs would have had to actually refund from their treasury because they were selling NFTs. They're selling them. They sold $300 million worth of NFTs. We're actually not selling the NFTs. It's between you and the blockchain. And we don't get anybody's money. So we can't even come up with any sort of recovery fund should things go wrong.
Right. So you're putting in mechanisms to protect that from the gas.
Right. So obviously the Zen burn is something that is a buffer on the accelerated gas abuse. Because if you have to pay $50,000 worth of Zen to burn to actually get yourself a unicorn, that means that those unicorns that could be very expensive will not necessarily cause a gas spike. So we're relaying the pressure from gas to Zen. Because not only you need to pay gas, but you also need to acquire Zen. And if you can't acquire Zen, then you have to wait. And if you have to wait, then the gas is not going to skyrocket. You see what I mean?
So, yeah, for the most part.
So we're trying to come up with the economic model, the rules that actually will not cause the gas to be so high so it will cause transactions to fail. And at the same time, we're trying to educate people not to FOMO in and lose all of their money because they would set their transactions wrong. So we're trying to get the most people who are really interested to practice the actual inner workings of how this whole thing is going to go.
Yeah, because the gas is going to be different. So the VM to make 5 BMUs with the ZNFT, it's going to be more expensive than to make 5 with CoinTool.
Actually, not so much. It's barely it's like 3% difference.
Okay.
It's really not going to be that big of a difference. The big difference is in population who love NFTs and who will ape in no matter what. Like those people who did not go for the ERC20 token, and we have seen a spike in gas. On the weekends, it went from 5 Gwei to 250. And every chain got clogged. And so just learning from that experience, we think that the ZenFT launch containing rare categories will actually be more of a FOMO situation, even more so than Zen, which will likely push gas so high that will potentially introduce failed transactions, potentially introduce people getting something they don't want, or just spending way too much money thinking that it's not going to be that high, but it will be.
Yeah.
Like when you set your transaction limit on MetaMask and Gwei, you set the upper limit. You don't set the lower limit. I mean, if you put it way too high, like you can say it like 3,000 Gwei, and if you have enough Ethereum, it will actually take it.
Yeah, I always put it low.
Yeah, but I
keep it low.
So when Zen launched, I saw people putting 500 Gwei for their transactions. And so if someone decides that 2,000 Gwei is going to be the safe bet and it's never going to get there, and what if it does?
Why would you? I mean, I guess if you really want the NFT, you're going to put it high though. Like I don't really. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't put that as my floor though. You got to be a certain type of person to put your limit that high. You want it to be. I guess some people are using it as a ask. And I use mine as a bid.
Yeah, that's the way to think about it.
Yeah,
that's the way. And some people are like that. It's gonna happen no matter what. So that is a concern, and we're trying to buffer it with the Zen burn. And you see how it works, right? So Zen burn requires you to acquire Zen before you even get to play with Zen NFTs, which means it's a buffer. It's like a bridge that you need to cross before you start throwing your ETH away.
And that's just for the common ones. You don't have to burn though, right?
Not for the collector. No, collector just works like regular, but it will not have as much FOMO.
So you don't have to burn Zen.
Not for the collector, but for the limited and for the rare category. That is where the concern is that those NFT degens is just gonna go, gonna ape in, so to speak. We've seen it before.
So first day, how much Zen do you think will get burned with the current parameters that you have now for like 1 billion? How much Zen you think will be burned?
Uh,
Because you guessed about launch of Zen, so let's hear your guess.
I think this is what's going to happen. And again, this is a guess, not financial advice, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But it is possible that the spiral effect, like the death spiral, it could be the opposite of the death spiral.
Yeah, where it kind of just keeps ramping up,
like a god candle for Zen, just because people figured, wait a second.
Like, how you know about God candle if you only got in Hex in May?
What does that have anything to do?
You never heard the God candle for when Hex was pumping? Or maybe he didn't invent the term.
I think it's, well, a friend of mine from Florida keeps talking about it, but he talked to me about it without mentioning Hex, so it must have been
maybe it's not a new term. But I thought he invented that term when Hex just pumped out of nowhere. It's like God candle.
Well, Richard invented everything. I mean, so.
I mean, I don't think I had ever heard anybody say God candle or like God will or anything.
Yeah, I'm just repeating what my friends used to say. Yeah. Like, but he talked specifically. That's the guy who bought Solana. So he said that Solana had a God candle or something. Okay. And so, but anyway, so what I'm thinking is, I mean, burn is not really that important. What's important is what will happen to the price of Zen. And we know liquidity is very low. And
it's not that. I mean, you would call 200,000. You still would call 200,000.
It's a microscopic, relatively low liquidity. And if you look at the market cap is what, like 5 million, 4 million?
Yeah, the market cap's pretty low.
It is very low.
It's very fair. I like how the market cap is being really true. Like,
well, it is true market cap, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like, because you really build up a coin yourself, and that's how much you're pricing it. So it's your true market cap. But I think even with 4 or 5 million, it's pretty small. It could jump to 500, and it still would not.
It's worth more than 4 or 5 million as a product.
Well, if we're looking at Shiba, how much is Shiba? Billions.
Gotta be. Yeah,
there was billions. I mean, but their market cap is not a true market cap, because Raiboshi has like 10 billion or something of it.
And that's why I've been burning all the more tokens, by the way. I asked you in my mind, what should I do to make more better? And you told me to burn all the coins.
I like that. I heard you in my mind too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
SHIB is 5 billion market cap.
Yeah. And so, I mean, SHIB is interesting, but it's kind of like piggybacking on Doge, obviously, because of the meme aspect. But I think like Zen being potentially 1 billion, and it really relates to how many people are holding Zen. Like, I truly believe that 10 million or 50 million users holding Zen is going to make it worth a couple of billion in the market cap. And so that's 200, 300x from here. That's the future.
Don't get people expecting stuff, man.
Now I'm talking about a market cap. Market cap is you take two numbers.
If the market cap goes that high, the price is going to go up too.
Yeah, you multiply the price by the total tokens, so it may not necessarily reflect in the price, because there will be more tokens.
Oh yeah, the inflation. Yeah.
So
it's gradually climbing though. It seems like it should gradually climb. It's kind of like I don't want to say a virus, but it's very
it's a virus.
It's kind of like a virus. Yeah, we both said it's a virus.
It's a virus. Hey, weren't you the one that said that it's gonna spread faster than the Rona or something?
I don't know if I made that one, but yeah, I can see myself saying.
Like someone said that on your chat. It's gonna spread.
So, would you say is Zen an attack?
It's an attack. It's an
well, seriously.
It's an attack on the status quo. Okay. Yes.
It's an attack on
on the
blockchains.
It's an attack on mediocrity.
Okay, I like that. So if your chain is mediocre, it's not going to be Zen's going to shut it down.
If you suck, you deserve to be off the market.
I mean, that's a good story, man. I think you should kind of like lean into that a little bit more. Well, as far as like the founder.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I don't want to be like sound a little too abrasive.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to be like, too centralized, but I think you should lean into that narrative, because I wonder that sometimes, like, is it like, are you doing this to, like, are you like a crypto villain? Like, because you kind of, it's like you just got into crypto. You found out about crypto early, but it seems like you kind of got back into it, and it's like, you know how people speculate in their minds about what people's motives are, and it seems like maybe you kind of like don't like crypto. Maybe you don't like crypto.
I mean, I'm gonna dispel this myth right here on your channel once and for all. So it's like this: like, people they're going nuts about my motivation and all that stuff, and like, why is he doing this?
Why are you doing? Yeah, like,
where's the OAA? You know, where is it? Like, where's all the money? Like, is he burning his own money? Like, why?
And then you'll say, why? And you'll say, I'm doing it because I want to, help save the world. But nobody wants to hear that, man. Nobody believes. I don't even really believe that. I think you really have some. Do you have any Zen?
Sure.
Oh, now you have Zen.
Yeah, I minted.
Like 2 days ago, you didn't have any Zen.
I minted like a week ago.
Oh, you minted your first Zen like a week ago?
Yeah.
So you haven't bought any Zen?
I tested.
Okay.
a tiny purchase on Uniswap to see if the whole thing even works, and it works.
Okay, let me rephrase. Do you have access to a lot of Zen? Access, not own, but do you have access? Like, you have a whole bunch of wallets that you bought them up on. And you
no, I don't. I do not have access. Okay. No more than you do.
So you're really not.
But let me tell you, like,
I ain't gonna say you don't know my wallets. You might know my wallets.
No, dude, I don't. I mean, but you can tell me, then I'll know.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
But motivation. Going back to motivation. So
motivation,
like imagine you wanting to invest in crypto, like invest. Like, you would, if you don't make your own, you would be buying somebody else's story.
That's the whole reason why I said that's why I did more, because I did it to where what I'm capable of doing. I don't even want to depend on anybody else. So I had to do it. I had to just make a simple ERC20 token.
Right. And so thinking about that, like, if I were to, like, I was buying Bitcoin back in the day, and it was pure, virginal, pristine.
Yeah.
And I wanted to feel that I'm in that similar situation again, like me personally. And I thought, okay, so I'm gonna make this code be out there in the world, and if people like it, great. People don't like it, fine. So whatever happens will happen. But if people do like it, then I want to be part of the community, so to speak, in the same boat, feeling the same way that I felt when Bitcoin came to be. And that makes it super exciting, because you're literally, like, truly eating your own dog food. You're participating, but you're also not having the toggles and controls to abuse the system. And that's what makes it worthwhile. It's a good story to remember for yourself in your own mind when you speak the truth to yourself, right? This is something that you can truly say that this is how it happened, and this is what it's meant to be.
Your motivation is you want it to be kind of like saying me. You want to be you don't want to be, I don't want to say pumping someone else's bag, but like, you don't want to be at the mercy of anybody else. That's what it sounds like. That's what, for me.
Well, I wanted to invest my time and energy and money into a project that I believe in, and I just happen to believe in this project the most. And it just so happens to be immutable, on-chain, no admin keys. So not only I can't believe in it, but everyone else can too.
So are you motivated by money at all from Zen?
I would say it's more like a video game you play. You're ranked on a leaderboard. So, I mean, there is a little bit of motivation there, but I don't think it's like the top. I mean, like, let's just say that.
Okay, that's better. It's just like, I'm like, come on, man. It's got to be some of the money's got to be a little bit of a part of it.
No, I mean, it has to be, because that's what brings people together. That's how the dopamine brain system works. Like you want to have a reward, and the reward is something you can buy milk with.
Right.
So or whatever, whatever that you want to do with your money.
Money, I think that's what everybody really wants to know. Are you motivated by money at all? Is this money motivated? Because the whole, I just want to create a crypto and it just be the most purest crypto. It sounds beautiful, but is it, So it's true, but money is still a factor.
It's like this. If I was the only one making money, that would not be as interesting.
Right.
So, because there's easier ways to produce crypto that actually does exactly that. We're actually making a joke. We're gonna make an unfair crypto April 1st. Fools April 1st. Unfair crypto.
Man, you ruined it.
Unfair crypto. All for me, none for you, or maybe just a little bit for you.
Or maybe just a little bit for you. That's a good one though.
Yeah.
Is it really gonna be a real coin?
No, dude, I'm just bullshitting. I'm just BSing.
Burn.
But listen, like, I mean, you can judge unfairness by how much the founder has. So
yeah, that's true. That's why I burnt all them coins. It's like, I don't need all these coins, man. What am I gonna do with this? I might as well burn all of them and just be like everybody else.
And here's the other thing. Like, let's get philosophical for just a second. What does all the money mean to you if there's no people playing your game?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's just fiat money is just paper. And digital money on an island without electricity is not going to work. Or in an absence of the world. Like, why would you need to accumulate money if you can have the world? The world's better to have, like, so to speak. Like, if you use Zen as a messenger molecule in this organic way, and it spreads around the world, and it carries the message, and it carries one of your messages, it's kind of a cool story, right? And you have to make it so that it's actually is a good message that's it's worth spreading. Like, it's not like dog eat dog message. It's more like, let's build something that's worldwide accepted and works for everyone. So that's the message. And Zen is that carrier, like, so to speak.
That's good, man. Well, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to ask. Let me make sure. Let me do one more double check. I'm gonna look at chat one more time. So you might disappear off my screen for a second.
Sure.
Whoa, it was a lot of chat. My bad, y'all. Super chats and everything. Crypto slow with the 5.
264 people, right?
Looks like it.
Yeah, that's what my phone says.
We got up to like 3. Will Apex NFTs be available to generate more Zen? I never heard of Apex NFTs. You know what he's talking about? Crypto?
That's the top category. We used to call it. We used to call it rare, and now it's called Apex. Yeah, I mean. Apex. Actually, all NFT categories will mint more Zen.
Oh yeah, it's the VMUs.
Yeah, if you have VMU, you can mint.
Can you do it as NFT without doing VMUs? It wouldn't make sense.
No. You. I mean, we don't have that option.
Okay.
We don't have that option now.
I don't see. Let's see. Ask Jack how many full 100 plus VMU NFTs will fit one ETH block when it comes to gas costs.
128 VMUs will fit.
128. All right.
That's about 24 million gas. The total gas limit on a block in Ethereum is 30 million. 24 is safe. And you don't want to be completely filling in the block, because some validators may be rejecting you because they wouldn't want to potentially miss out on smaller transactions if your transaction fails for some reason.
Joe Blow says he's so intelligent he sold BTC for $30. Any response?
No response. I'm speechless.
How did he turn around and take over the world? Comment so fast. Richard and Jack will create a beautiful crypto future. I agree.
Yeah, our crypto babies could have a nice family.
Bruh, he said he liked Hex though. What the fuck? So he likes the founder having all the coins.
No, that's not the same, actually. I
think
I
so.
like Hex for the code, not necessarily its financial condition.
Thomas with the 10 said, "How did you meet Jack? Do you trust him?" I found out about Jack watching PostCon, and it's basically I was introduced to him through Richard Hart because Richard Hart seemed like he loved him at least at the beginning. Do I trust Jack? I trust him as far as I can throw him. I can throw him about 6 feet.
6 feet.
Yeah,
How old are you?
I'm 33.
Ah, all right.
I'm still probably. I'm trying to keep myself. Keep myself going.
Nice.
Let me see. The code, you mean the OA address, aka okay, fraud. I think that's about it. Any questions on your end you want to answer?
What's your favorite video game?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, right now?
Sure.
Warzone 2. I mean, my favorite game period is Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I used to play Counter Strike.
Really?
Yeah.
I never got into that one.
Yeah, it's a little special.
You play any Call of Duty, Warzone?
No.
Man, that would be epic, man, if we did a Warzone stream together.
We should.
You know I play Warzone at the end of my streams.
Well, I have a mouse.
Yeah, you can play it on mouse keyboard. You're laughing. That's not the best way to play.
Yeah, I know, because like
you haven't played a game on mouse and keyboard?
No. I mean, no.
That's crazy.
I always do. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my first shoot 'em up was Doom and then Quake. I used to play for hours.
Okay, so you first person shooter then.
Yeah.
Download Warzone and play it.
But I like Call of Duty. I should check it out. I mean, I don't have a PC though. That's the problem.
You don't have a PC?
No.
Oh, you're probably on your laptop or something?
No, I'm using the Mac Studio. So Mac Studio is like this brick. It's kind of like Mac Mini, but much larger. It
should be able to handle Warzone.
They have it for the Mac?
That's a good question, actually.
I don't think they make them for Macs.
That is actually I never even thought about that. That's crazy. I even thought about that. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, most of the games are made for PCs.
Yeah, get you. So you don't play on controller at all.
Yeah, I used to like play a lot of Xbox.
Okay.
With the controller also.
What I do is I play with a SCUF. It's like a controller that you plug into your computer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got extra buttons and stuff.
By the way, going back to crypto real quick, really considering proof of work NFTs.
Proof of work NFTs, like for ETH
yes.
Proof of work?
So no, it's gonna be proof of stake Ethereum 2, but it's the work you have to do and then to prove to the NFT that you have done the work.
You're talking like I seen it's an NFT project out that does something like that. It's like CryptoPunks. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's some CryptoPunks that you can mine. I think it's MPunks or WPunks.
So the way that I'm thinking that this would work is that Zen burn will be part of the equation. So you have to burn Zen and do the proof of work proof, essentially. So you will not be able to mint unless the proof of work actually is validated, and the smart contract will validate the proof of work. And the proof of work and proof of work is computationally intensive, so you'll have to run a computational analysis.
So it's not. Is it going to be like through like GPUs?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of like I'm trying to find that.
Yeah, it can be through GPUs, and you'll be able to produce a solution to a problem, like a digital problem that you need to solve. And then once you have the signature, then you go to the web app. You put in the code that you produced. That's your proof of work, and then you pay Zen. You pay Zen, and when I say pay, I mean burn.
So have you heard about that project I'm talking about?
Which one?
It's a NFT project that you mine with GPUs. I just can't find it.
Yeah, well, if you find it, send it over. I'll definitely want to take a look at it. But yeah, I thought it would be really cool to take the access excess of all of the GPUs that are available. Once Ethereum kind of like merged, there's a lot of people with a lot of GPUs that's sitting idle. So they could be using them for proof of work. And it will make NFTs even more rare. So the rarity will be boosted. And it will burn in. So it's going to be really interesting.
Man, I really wish I could find that. I was just looking at it the other day. I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. It's like M-Punks or something like that. Maybe somebody in the chat says it. Let's see. Chat might know. Chat knows all things. I think I got another. No. Mac. Let's see if anybody knows. But all right, I think that's about it, man.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being the first. You're the first person I ever had on my stream, man.
Nice. Yeah,
I don't even think I did that with Richard Hart. I think I went on his channel. I can't remember.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, I really like your streams. I mean, you go deep into all the questions. And
really?
Yeah, you really go you look at everything. I mean, you were analyzing me psychologically on a stream. You tried to, or at least you caught body language change.
Yeah, it's fun.
When the question was asked, and to be honest, I just had that itch on my forehead that I was trying, and I'm like, I have to itch. Hey, man, before I answer this question, I have to scratch myself. Yeah, and you're like, ooh, body language. I'm like, this dude is watching my every move. Like, what the?
That's funny. No, I can't find it. I'll let you know though if I do.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other time you want to do it, just let me know.
Yeah, let's do it again. And I also have you streamed on my channel too. So
nice. Too bad my name isn't on the bottom, but it's all good. Yeah. TRVON. If you guys want to find me.
Okay. Yeah. And at mrjacklevin.com for me. Yeah, let's do it again, and we'll figure out how to do so that I don't have to look at the phone to see you.
Yeah.
With the delay.
I know what it is. It's another camera. I just need another camera. But maybe you know some other way.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man. Thanks. Talk soon. Peace. Bye.